The New York Times has reported that its Moscow bureau was targeted in an attempted cyber attack and alleges that Russians are responsible. News network CNN now says the FBI is investigating the accusations.
The FBI is investigating these series of intrusions that are believed to be the work of hackers working for Russian intelligence.
Well, shortly after CNN's broadcast, a New York Times reporter tweeted that the channel's report on the alleged hack by Russia was inaccurate. RT's Caleb Moppin looks at the facts and the fiction.
Well, CNN certainly raised many eyebrows when they reported about hacking attacks on the Moscow bureau of the New York Times. Now, the New York Times has now reported on it themselves, and we have one of the authors of their article, Nicole Perlroth. She's gotten on Twitter and said that the CNN report was, quote, overblown and inaccurate. Now, we've reached out to the FBI, and they have not given us any comment about any ongoing investigation about the case. Now, one thing that was similar in both the New York Times account of events and the CNN account of events, they both said that they believed Russian hackers were to blame. Now, the New York Times bureau in Moscow is not the only news agency in that city to have been subject to cyber attacks. RT's headquarters in Moscow has also been targeted with attempts to breach the server on an almost daily basis for the last week. Neither of the reports really confirmed that the server of the New York Times had been penetrated. So we don't know exactly all the facts here, but one thing that seems to be a pattern is that when a hacking attack takes place, U.S. media assumes Russia is to blame without providing any real evidence.
Caleb Moppin there. Well, lately, large parts of the media have been paying special attention to alleged Russian hacking stories, the latest of which saw WikiLeaks release Democratic National Convention emails, and it would now appear that Moscow is taking the fall for every big cyber breach in the US.
Computers of the NATO alliance were hacked by Russians.
Russian government hackers, they penetrated the DNC computer network.
Russian hackers got access to sensitive parts of the White House email system.
The hack into the DNC. They used an attack that was used by some Russian hackers in the past. That was a well-known attack, and what that well-known means that a lot of people know about it and know therefore how to use it. And so you need to now prove who it is, since that is a fairly well-known, widespread knowledge of this attack. So, I mean, aside from the fact that their system should have defended against it, since it was known, but it didn't. But they still need to prove that. I mean, you could do that by looking into the network logs, seeing how the packets were passed around the network, seeing where they came from, how they got to you, and trace it back. That's something you have to prove. Let's use a little professional discipline. Prove it.